Is Special Division 5 coming back? In this chapter of Chainsaw Man, with the confirmation of Swordman being alive from Division 5, which we thought were all killed, does this mean we'll finally see the long-awaited return of fan favorites Reze and Quanxi? I don't know about you guys, but I'm hyped. So subscribe for new Chainsaw Man content, and as well drop a like if you want to see Reze and Quanxi back. Let's do this. So the chapter begins with Denji and the mysterious girl with bats that attack each other, but it's not what you think, as a man behind Denji draws a gun, so she actually throws the bat, taking out the assailant. But even crazier is the gun is only a model gun anyways. At this point, honestly, I'm thinking my heart can't take anymore. Is this woman trying to kill Denji or trying to save him? I feel like the last couple of chapters has been nothing but a roller coaster in that regard. So I also feel like her dialogue after this is like reading my thoughts as they happen, because she says, makes sense that guys attacking with baseball bats wouldn't have a gun. This to me suggests that she didn't know any of this was going to happen, which, well, I don't know, something seems really sus about her, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So Denji is like, aren't you the enemy? And in a twist I never saw coming, no, she's not the enemy. So let me get this straight. This girl touched Denji inappropriately, made him put the devil in his mouth, sung while he was being attacked, and doesn't want anything from Denji. Not even to kill him, even a little bit. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. This is when she's formally introduced. Also, hey, didn't expect to see you here, as Denji's junior Fumiko Mifune. Interestingly, she's with Public Safety Devil Extermination Division 7. This rolls off the tongue. So this means finally, since Chainsaw Man Part 1, we have a reintroduction to public safety and some confirmation that they know Denji is alive, and that there is a direct confirmation there's still an organization after the Makima and Gun Devil incidents. Also, and another twist or two, Fumiko is in charge of guarding Denji, and also she's 22 years old, basically going undercover as a high schooler. So, does this mean that a 22-year-old was filling up a high school student, and if a row of these bat dudes didn't attack, then she would have ended up having sex with Denji? But I mean, it's bold. They introduced another groomer in the series, which makes Fumiko not the most unique, but the circumstances are different, as Fumiko doesn't have the same excuses maybe Himeno did of being drunk. So she's a little worse than Himeno, I think. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of Himeno. Not talking shit. But Hifumi tells Denji that since he's Chainsaw Man, that getting attacked comes with the territory, which is accurate. Denji is pretty much attacked randomly at all times, and so that's why he's assigned a bodyguard to him. And I like this because it shows that there are people still looking out for Denji, but also Hifumi knew he was the real Chainsaw Man the entire time. And an important note is that there were no ways to identify the assailants with the bats, meaning I think it was clearly organized by some other group that wants Denji dead. Fumiko then begins to tell Denji about how powerful he is and that he's super cool. Denji immediately has a feeling she's lying and just doing this as a part of his job, which does let him down quite a bit. After all, he is still a hormonal teenager. Her being 22 probably isn't something he cares about, but she says she's really into him, even calling him senpai, which I find interesting as she's older than him, but still his junior. I also think this shows that she's super dedicated to the role, maybe a little too dedicated, by still calling him senpai, but not in a million years do I think it's because of any other reason than continuing the trend of older women taking advantage of Denji. But she insists that she is, which surprised Denji, calling him the one and only Chainsaw Man, which Hifumi chops her on the head and reminds her to do her job, promising Denji to set her straight later on. And honestly, after seeing all this, I don't know if I'm that much of a fan of Fumiko's character, but I'll have to wait and see. Mostly because we've seen this kind of character before. I don't know if she brings anything unique quite yet. But this is where we get into the really, really good stuff. We then focus in on Asa, who's watching TV as she's being recognized as a beautiful heroine, which Yoru loves as it's fulfilling a desire she has, which Asa has to remind her that they're not doing this for praise, but to save Chainsaw Man, which War is like, nah, we're doing this to kill Chainsaw Man, which this shows that the two have totally different desires, even still. But Yoru talks about the rush she experienced from the fame, which for Asa it doesn't feel great for her, while at the same fucking time clearly loving the fame. So I saw this from two perspectives. In fact, it's creeping her out because it's an invasion of her privacy, which makes sense. Fame very much is intrusive, as when you think about it, it's just a bunch of people paying attention to you at all times, following you in your every step, learning everything they can about you, and the way you feel about things even. But she's being recognized and adored, which if you think about it is something that's never happened and something she probably has wanted. So of course, Asa's character would get a rush from the fame just like Denji. It shows that the two once again are more similar than she may think. I feel like she's trying to over-rationalize her feelings and not just letting herself give in to the same way that Denji does. Denji is more simplistic, while Asa tends to overcomplicate things with her feelings, which actually does make me feel sad for her, as I can relate to that. She's an introvert with issues. I've got those too. Also, it shows that really Asa, I think so far, is the only person that really gets and understands Denji. Just comparing it to the 20-year-old Fumiko here. Yeah, I feel like Asa really just gets what he's going through and understands him quite well. Except that once again, Asa just tends to overcomplicate a lot of the things she's feeling and rationalizes herself not to give in to the things that she wants. This is when we cut to Denji and the newly revealed Swordman as they're both looking at a poster for the Chainsaw Man Church, which Asa is the poster girl of along with Denji. And I love this next part as it's sort of meta. Swordman says that it ticks him off putting a new fresh face besides Chainsaw Man. I think this is a reference to the backlash that some fans had over Asa's character, as many people didn't like the fact that a series named Chainsaw Man was focusing on a nobody like Asa Mitaka, at least in their eyes. As well, another nice detail and confirmation is that the scars Yoru has actually appear when she takes over, and people can actually see them. For the longest, I thought that her scars were just something for the audience to know Yoru is taking over and not really indicative of what others can see, but this confirms otherwise, which is just a nice little detail I liked. Finally, he confirmed his identity to Denji, only for him just to be sort of unimpressed in his own Denji way, but we gotta talk about this. So to put this into perspective, hybrids are fucking back on the table. Basically, these are the hybrids from chapter 87 and 86 in Chainsaw Man, which, if you remember, were the ones under the control of Makima, Special Division 5. These are the guys and gals that simped over her endlessly. But now with Makima dead, this means they're not under her control, or at least, not that we know of yet. This also confirms that Special Division 5 are probably all alive, which means very well and very likely that Reze and Quanxi are coming back because they're alive. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. I'm trying to temper my expectations, not trying to get too excited, but these guys, I can't help myself, by the way, but these guys were perceived as dead in those chapters, and throughout this entire arc, people have been losing hope of their status. Well, this kind of confirms them to be alive, you guys. This very well could have confirmed that Division 5 hybrids are just back on the table, and I'm so excited for this. This is massive, because these characters, Quanxi and Reze, are just so freaking popular that I think they have a huge opportunity here to give them even more personality and make them even bigger characters. People to this day still ship Reze with Denji, so I imagine those guys and gals are going to be hyped when we finally see her come back, and I hope she's in the next chapter. I hope they are. As well, with their opportunities to make their personalities more obvious, Swordman seems pretty chill, so how are the rest gonna be? Is Reze still gonna like Denji in that way? Is Quanxi, still gonna be Quanxi? Like, I just have so many questions, and that's why I gotta ask you guys, what are your thoughts about this chapter of Chainsaw Man? Put them in the comments below. With the confirmation of Special Division 5 being alive, how do you think that happened? And what do you think about Quanxi and Reze probably being alive? Does that make you excited for the future of Chainsaw Man? Also, if you haven't, please be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video, as I appreciate all the support I can get. We're getting somewhat close to the big 3K number, so if you can help me out there, I'd love you forever. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.